brought to you by CCT.
We understand that you cannot come to the store and encourage you to stay at home. If you need assistance with bill payments, top-ups, or troubleshooting, we are here to help. Call us at 444-4444 from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, or visit our website at www.cctbvi.com. Click Top Up Here or My CCT for top-up or bill payments. Social distancing with CCT.
Hello BVI, my name is Javon Wilson coming to you live from the BVI Red Cross facility here in Roetown, Tortola. Now, in light of what's happening with COVID-19 already and in preparation for hurricane season, we thought it best to sit down with the director of the BVI Red Cross, Miss Stacy Lloyd, to discuss how you too can be prepared. So welcome.
Welcome everyone. Javon, thanks for coming again. And as Javon mentioned, hurricane preparedness with COVID-19. My team and our volunteers are ramping up our efforts in terms of hurricane preparedness. And so what we're doing is you're going to be seeing a lot of public service announcements from the BVI Red Cross. Programs such as this, where we'll be talking to the community about preparations for hurricane season, which officially starts June 1st. Okay. There have been 16 named storms, and it is concluded that this is an above average hurricane season. And as such, we here in the Caribbean, hurricanes are it's stranger to us. It's part of the way we live. Mm-hmm. And so we want persons to remain prepared. We know with COVID-19 there's a lot that's going on, and so a lot of the focus is on COVID-19. Right. But we need to be prepared in the event of a major hurricane, which is predicted.
Okay, noted. So you said prepared as in the sense of what we need to do mentally, where we need to be. But we are dealing with what we call a double crisis, like we said, coronavirus in the midst of COVID-19. The preparations may be a bit different this time around. So just tell us about those, if you can go a little bit in depth.
Well, you would definitely have your disaster plan that you would go over with your family, talking about mitigating risk in terms of your property. But we also need to make sure that when we're preparing our emergency bag, which is the bag that you would use in the event you have to run away, right. You have the things that you need, which is like your cash, your medication, but also make sure that you have your mask. Make sure that you have your hygiene items. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you have all of your protective equipment with you, because we're still dealing with the effects of COVID-19. So you do all the things that you're accustomed to doing in terms of hurricane preparedness, but ensure that all of your PPEs and all of your necessary gears and hygiene items are in your emergency pack.
Okay. Are you guys working along with DDM? I know they're the main guiding body as it relates to hurricanes in the region. What exactly are you guys collaborating on? And if you can just elaborate a little bit more on what specifically the BVI Red Cross will be doing for residents in the community.
We have a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with DDM. So we are considered their partners. And officially, the government takes the lead. And we're an auxiliary to government, and in this case, the Department of Disaster Management. Okay. So we have our own efforts that we do as a Red Cross Society, but we partner with DDM in terms of preparation. When it comes to shelter management, they take the lead. So they're the ones that they make the assessments in terms of the shelters, if they're ready for hurricane seasons, if they can actually be used. And we work along with them. So what they're doing, we try not to duplicate the efforts. Right. We try to do stuff that they would be missing. So in this instance, right now, everybody's preparing. So it's a lot of making sure people are mentally prepared. And then once they've done their assessment, then we then come in and then we say, we're going to fill in the gap in this area. And that's how we do it.
Okay. As it relates to necessities, what would you recommend that every household needs in the event of a major hurricane? Like we mentioned, 16 named storms, at least 8 or 9 of those considered to be major. What do we need? Well, what do we need to ensure that we have within our households?
Before you get the essentials, you need to have a checklist. Mm-hmm. You should have a meeting with your family and discuss the things that you need to do as a family, because it makes no sense that one person knows and the other person don't know. So you have to ensure, of course, that your house is free of vulnerabilities. So if you have low hanging trees, you make sure they're cut. Try to keep your yard as clean as possible. But you need an emergency to-go bag. And in that bag would be your cash, your medication, what else would we put in there? Emergency tools, your flashlights, etc., etc. You also need to know where you will go in the event of a storm, and where would you be. More than likely with a hurricane, we know when it's coming, so you can plan and say, okay, make an assessment of your house and think, and to yourself, if you know that your house is not safe,
right,
where would be my shelter? Would it be my neighbor's house, my family house, or in shelter? So it's a lot mental. And in terms of just things that you need, it would be things that you need to operate within one day. So, of course, clothes, bedding, your medication, glasses, cash, those are the things that you need to have in a to-go bag in the event of a really major storm.
Okay. I know back in 2017, Irma and Maria, as much as we knew it was coming, we seemingly underestimated the damage that it was going to cause. In light of the fact that we now know how many are slated to hit the region, what do you think we can learn from that season, Irma, Maria specifically, from that time that we can apply to this hurricane season?
I think with Irma, the biggest message or the biggest takeaway was that we did not expect it to hit us directly, and we did not expect it to be at the strength that it was. And so what we're noticing is that hurricanes are very unpredictable now. Dorian last year in the Bahamas, it actually sat on the Bahamas for like a day, 2 days, and it destroyed Abaco. And that was not necessarily the prediction. So the biggest takeaway is prepare yourself for possibly the worst. Because most of the time, or some of the time, the predictions are not always accurate. So you just always have to be prepared and just prepare for what would be the worst case scenario.
Okay. As we prepare to wrap up, how are you as a body able to balance the needs of the coronavirus era that we're living in, coupled with, like you said, preparedness for the hurricane season? How is the BVI Red Cross dealing with all of that?
What we've been doing is we're looking at stats. So we sent out a survey in regards to hurricane preparedness with the effect of COVID-19. And we've received actual good turnout in terms of responses. So we're looking at the data, and that's how we're going to be able to plan our preparedness effort. So based on the information, that's when we're going to know where we need to target, how we need to target, what are the resources we need to get to make sure that persons are prepared, and to make sure that we are prepared as the BVI Red Cross. From there, of course, we will be talking with DDM and letting them know what we found in terms of the survey, and these are the results, and we partner with them, and then we just move forward and we try to as best mitigate what the biggest effects or the risk would be if a major hurricane was to come.
All right, earlier on we mentioned the shelters. Now I know post Irma Maria, not all of them have been repaired, so there is a slight level of fear in the BVI. You know, if something was to happen, where do we go? Now I know some are ready. Are you in any way fearful that in light of COVID-19 and the risks of COVID-19 and having to gather in a setting like that, are you fearful that the disease might possibly spread? And do you know of any provisions that are currently being considered to mitigate that?
Well, our government has been doing an amazing job with COVID-19, and they're the one that normally takes the lead. In this case, it would be Ministry of Health. And the disease is something that we all know can be spread with coughing, touching, and so forth. Basically, what the government can do is make sure that everybody has the resources that they need, their PPEs, and to just constantly pound the message that we need to, as best as we can, maintain social distancing, make sure that our hands are sanitized, wash, etc., etc. So the possibility of it being spread is there. We just, as a body, BVI Red Cross, could only continue to spread the message about this is what you need to do, this is how to do it, and if possible, give persons the resources to mitigate the risk of spreading the disease.
All right, viewers, this has been Miss Stacy Lloyd. She is the director of the BVI Red Cross, of course, talking all things preparing for the hurricane season. There's a lot that we need to do. I mean, June 1st marks the beginning of the hurricane season. So we need to be as vigilant as possible, but also paying mind to what's already going on, a current crisis that is COVID-19, and of course, doing the best that we can. Any closing words for our viewers?
For our viewers, I'd like to just say, I know right now it could kind of seem that things are getting normal. I think as of yesterday, the government said that we have no COVID cases in the BVI. So there could be a sense of complacency or normal. And once the territory opens up again, we might have a different conversation. Right. So, continue to observe those measures in place by government. Stay tuned to your government broadcasts and any type of updates in regards to hurricane season and COVID-19, as well as the BVI Red Cross. You can go to our website, www.redcross.vg, or our social media pages, redcross.vg, for any updates.
All right, Ms. Light, thank you so much. Viewers, hurricane season is upon us, and like you heard, preparedness is key. Please stay tuned to the relevant channels, that is BVI Red Cross, DDM, as well as the government channels, and 284 Media for all the exclusives. I'm Javon Wilson for 284 Media.
In the final analysis, we have two options: stay inside and create memories that will last forever, or go outside and say goodbye to those memories. We're not stuck inside, we're safer inside. The time is now to unite, embrace, and love each other from a distance. Show the world and the people in it just how much they mean to you by keeping your distance. It may be difficult, but necessary. Let's reintroduce humanity and heart to all homes. While we can't enjoy the sun, sand, and sea, let's take this time to remember why we are nature's little secrets. Stay inside, and when it's over, we would all be better, stronger, and we would all still be together. With self-discipline and patience, we can overcome. We are, have been, and will always be VI Strong. A message from your team at 284 Media.